What's the cruelest prank you've ever seen? A friend of mine had a crush on his coworker. It was sort of an open secret. His manager tried to help him, offered advice, some things to say, small gifts she might be into, etc. What no one knew at the time was that said manager and said coworker had recently started dating and hadn't told anyone yet. So he meant it as a prank on his new girlfriend to be put into these awkward situations. But my friend's feelings were really hurt when it all came out. Okay, so you're trying to prank your girlfriend by setting her up with somebody else? A group of girls at my high school told a girl that they were hanging out at one of their houses at 9 near a train station. But they really just made up a time and place that would make her stranded at the last train stop with no more trains home. One thing I expect to see in a lot of these stories is that these aren't really pranks, these are just kind of messed up things to do to somebody for no reason. In middle school, a girl came up to us on the playground and told this dude to go see the principal. He's looking for you. He got a call that your mom died. Then as soon as the dude ran away, she told us all she just made it up. It was freaking horrible. Well, I guess that's still better than having your mom actually die, so at least he got some good news after that. I saw a guy tip over a porta potty with someone in it. That memory is clear. I think it was his girlfriend. Okay, so they either have a really strong relationship together, or it was over that day. Someone asked a guy to be her boyfriend. He said yes, and the next day she invited all her friends to tell him that she did it as a joke. Okay, I'm not sure that's really a prank, that's more just bullying. In college, at the end of the year, a club I was in had a roast of the outgoing seniors. My friend running the roast couldn't come up with anything for one of the guys. Let's call him Ben. To drum up ideas, he called a bunch of Ben's close friends, also in the club, and asked them for things to make fun of Ben about. Thinking this was a confidential conversation, they proceeded to absolutely lay into Ben. The guy is seriously lame. Honestly, when I'm talking to a girl and he is there, it is supremely awkward. My friend simply recorded the whole conversation and played it outright for Ben's section of the roast, mortifying Ben and all of his friends simultaneously. Well then, I guess this is the closest we've come so far to being like an actual prank. I guess you're just kind of exposing people for being jerks. A prank war was going on between two houses that were next to each other in San Diego, California, circa 2014. My cousin lived in one of the houses, and this happened when I went to visit him a few years back. House number 1 pulled a prank that led to a member in house 2 being late for his first day of work. It was collateral damage, but the guy ended up getting fired for it. The guy who lost his job came home furious. He then took a 15-pound medicine ball and painted it to look just like a soccer ball. He tossed the medicine ball into the front yard of house 1 and waited. When he saw the guy come out of the house, he yells, "Hey Josh, can you kick that ball back over here?" The dude proceeds to take a running start and square up and kick the soccer ball with every ounce of strength he had. The poor guy went down almost immediately in tears and screaming. Ended up breaking 3 bones in his right foot. Just brutal. Yeah, I hope I never really get into this kind of war situation, because you never know how far things might go, and you feel like you're just never safe. When I was a kid, somehow my classmates found it funny to piss in other people's cans of soda. I did not have a good childhood. Yeah, I guess that's one way of putting it, but soda is already pretty gross, so I'm not sure that pissing in it's gonna make it much worse. In 6th grade, I opened my locker, and a note from the boy I had a crush on fell out saying that he liked me too. A bunch of girls in my grade were there when I found it, and were super happy for me. Or I thought they were. When I went to the boy to ask him about it, he said he didn't write it, and the group of girls who were there when I found the note had written it. I turned around and sure enough they're laughing. But it crushed me. Not that the boy didn't like me back, but because I didn't think these girls I'd gone to school with since 1st grade were that mean. A couple weeks later, a group played a similar joke on one of the girls who was actually in on the prank against me, and I got a genuine apology from her after she realized how bad I must have felt. None of the other girls ever apologized. Well, one thing that should bring some hope to these people is that the kids you grow up in school with oftentimes end up being some of the worst people you ever meet. So once you graduate, it's usually a lot better after that. Happened to me. Was at my first school dance in middle school. Was always the shy kid, so I was surprised when one of the popular chicks came to ask me to dance. I said no because I was shy. I was elated that I got asked. A few minutes later, I'm in the bathroom stall and a few kids come in and start talking about how they paid her $10 to ask me. And if I had said yes, she would have just tripped me and made me look dumb. I never went to another dance all throughout middle and high school, even prom. Hey, I mean, technically you had the upper hand on that prank because you're the one that got to reject her. In high school, someone made a pipe bomb and sneakily threw it into a metal trash can. One of my friends unknowingly walked by when it exploded and blew out his eardrum. The trash can looked like a peeled banana afterwards. That person was ratted out and expelled. The kid was arrested afterwards. I saw him 10 years later working at a car wash. All of this happened in 1997. Ah yes, who could forget the good old pipe bomb prank? We all pulled it once or twice growing up, you know, just being kids. In high school, one of the cutest girls in my grade came up to me and told me she had a crush on me and wanted to go out on a date. I was skeptical because no one had ever asked me out before, but I was growing into my body pretty well and definitely more attractive than I was as an early teen, so I just figured puberty was doing some good work for me. We were 16 or 17 and had both just gotten our licenses, so she said she'd meet me at the movie theater and we'd go have dinner after the movie. I told my mom and she got all excited and helped me pick out an outfit and took pictures of me before my first ever date. I know it's cringy, but you know how it goes. I went and got a haircut and my car detailed so I'd be rolling fresh, you know. And believe me, I was looking tasty. Fresh shave, hair edged up sharp enough to cut glass. I dripped out before the phrase even existed. So I show up at the theater a couple minutes early, and I'm waiting for her, and after like 15 minutes, I think maybe I'll call her to make sure she didn't have like an emergency come up or something. We didn't have texting back then. So I call her and she answers on speakerphone and like 5 other girls are all laughing at me saying things like, haha, he actually showed up. So yeah, it was all just a prank to hurt my feelings. Joke's on me, I guess. Have you guys ever seen the Malcolm in the Middle episode where Reese basically has something very similar to this happen? Where a bunch of girls set him up with a date to the prom or something, and then it's all just a big prank to make him look humiliated. But then his mom goes to each one of the girls individually, and then just pulls some like crazy twisted prank on each one of them to ruin their lives. I kind of want to watch that episode after this now. This happened to me. 7th grade during Valentine's Day, we had candygrams. The cutest stuff we could send to our friends, and obviously middle schoolers are sending them to their crushes. They would receive these candygrams during a class period, as someone came by dropping them off. You could write a little message and then who it's from. I got one from this guy friend I liked, and went up to him the next period and brought it up and said it was really cute and thanks. He looked a little confused but was like, no problem. I felt kind of dumb after that and walked away, just to find out the next day that it was one of my friends who sent it to me and just put his name on it to make it seem like it was him. I mean, at least he was nice enough to go along with it because he was just as confused. Man, there sure are a lot of stories about your crush pretending to like you back in this. But at least this feels like the most tame out of all of them so far. I seen a video of 2 small girls. One told the other to look at the doorknob really close as it distorts your face. Then she slammed the door right into her face, hitting her teeth. I don't know why this story just catches me so off guard after all of the repeats we've had so far. When they gave that raccoon the cotton candy. Bastards. There is a strikingly low amount of context in this story, but I kind of like how it ends. The first time I met my brother's new girlfriend, she pulled me aside and started crying. She told me that she was pregnant, but my brother wasn't ready to tell anyone. She asked me to check up on him because he is really nervous. A couple of days go by, and I texted her to see how she was doing, and if my brother was doing okay, and if they needed anything. She asked me what I was talking about. I said the baby. She replied, "Oh, you believed me? I was only joking. I'm not pregnant. I can't believe you fell for that." This wasn't some teenager either. She was like 30. Yes, I told my brother. Yes, he still ended up marrying her. Almost 10 years later, I still refuse to trust her. You know, people like this are just so weird. They're like, I'm just gonna tell random lies here and there that for no reason, no motives whatsoever. I just want to spread some misinformation just because, and yeah, and just go along with it. I put meatballs in the chute for the ice maker, so when my roommate went to get some ice, his glass filled up with meatballs. Oh, that's messed up, man. I can't believe you'd even be sharing that here. When I was in 8th grade, a thing called turtling and zip-tying backpacks were popular. Well, one day early in the year, on the bus ride home, a kid decided to zip-tie a 6th grader's backpack to the leg of the chair, which is welded to the floor. When he got up to leave and realized his backpack was stuck, he started panicking, trying to get it undone, and eventually had to leave the backpack, and he was stressed out saying his mom was going to freak out on him. He looked like he was about to cry. I mean, that's kind of weird that everyone would just carry zip ties around, but if people are doing that, you should probably just be carrying scissors everywhere. I don't have a specific example in my life, but I've always thought those fake lottery tickets are cruel. Those people think their life is going to change, and then it's all yanked away from them while people laugh. Same energy as when a parent gifts their kids something in the box for an iPad or a Switch or something expensive and fancy, but it's really something crappy and lame inside. The entire joke is, haha, you thought your dreams were coming true, but then they didn't. Look at us, a bunch of kidders, to toy with your emotions like that. Yeah, that pretty much applies to all of the stories of people's crushes pretending to like them too, so... But just don't ever do this kind of thing with animals, that's just mean. Right, Faye? Yeah, she agrees. I saw a kid at a high school cafeteria spend 20 minutes removing seeds from jalapenos and chopping up the seeds until he had a handful. He walks over to a different table and threw the handful of sliced up seeds into the eyes and face of another kid. Hey, yeah, you really got him there. He's gonna remember that prank. Well, that's all of the stories that I pulled from this time. Obviously it's been a little bit since I made a video because I mentioned I went on vacation. But yeah, I just spent a week flying out to the Midwest to go to a bunch of roller coaster parks. So I ended up visiting Six Flags, Great America, Cedar Point, and Kings Island, just over in Illinois and Ohio. Just lots of flights and driving, and it was one of the best vacations I've ever been on. But Faye definitely missed me the whole time. I had somebody come check up on her every day and feed her. But ever since I've been home, she's been very clingy. But yeah, the last few days I've just been like trying to catch up on sleep, and still feeling vertigo after riding so many roller coasters. I still feel like I'm falling sometimes. But it was a great trip. I'd definitely do it again.